2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Hit up the bandwagon.
We're on, and this is why we're on. We've got one of the great defenders in the West Coast Fever right now. Sunday Ariang's in the house, which is great news. But the other part to that is the pre-season Sunday has gone particularly well.
Yeah, no, pre-season has gone so well for us. I think leading into it, we didn't know what the outcomes would be, but I think we're all very happy with how we finished. And even though we didn't come first, I think we made such great improvements and growth in that preseason.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're not one-trick pony anymore.
No, let's talk about Liv Wilkinson, because you train with her all the time, so you obviously know what she's about and how well she can play. Were you surprised at the reaction, I guess, now that she's getting a little bit more court time and others in Australia can see what a fantastic athlete she is?
Yeah, I wish people knew earlier how good she was, but she went out there and just did her thing. She absolutely smashed it. And I think from trainings, I'm constantly playing on her, and I've seen how much she's grown from the first time she's come in to now, and she makes it so hard for me at training. So it's great that everyone gets to see how great she can be and what she can do. She's recognised that Janelle is Janelle, and she's the best shooter in the world, and she can't try to copy or be Janelle. She just needs to bring herself and do what she does best, which I think she's done in that pre-season matches.
Sunday, the junior netball season's not far away. There's been a lot of gradings around town for everybody who's starting off in their netball career lately. When you were playing juniors, were you always in defence? Because I always tell my daughter, this is what you got to play centre or you play GA. That's where you got to play.
They're the glory spots.
Because if you're in GA, you get to run up the field and you score the goals. If you're in centre, you get to go everywhere. Who wants to play in defence? Defence.
Excuse me, I love defence.
I know now, but you surely
from the very
you did
beginning, were you a
always play
defender?
No, I was a shooter.
The glory position. But you know what? Defence is so hard. It is the hardest
no one wants
position.
to play there.
And wing defence in particular, and I know you roll through wing defence. What makes that position so challenging in particular?
I think in wing defence, it's really just that lockdown role of just work him. And you're constantly I feel like wing attacks are so quick with their change of directions and they're so small and speedy. And you got to just keep up with those change of directions. So it's a lot of footwork, which ends up tiring you out very quickly.
Wing defence gets a bad rap because at the lower levels, it's if you haven't got enough to make a team, you just drop the wing defence. That's where you put the least skilled person because they can't do too much damage at wing defence.
I know, it's a bit sad, but you have to be skillful to be a wing defence. So.
At the highest level, wing defence is a highly specialised position.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us about sharing the circle with your sister. I mean, you share clothes, I've heard, but what's it like having her in the team full-time this season?
No, it's great having Ruth in the team full-time. I feel like we just get each other in the circle. There's not much arguing between the two of us. I think when we're at netball, that's when we're at our best and we're talking to each other nicely.
Connected.
On their best behaviour.
Yeah. Whereas at home, if you heard us talking, you'd be like, wow, they
hate one another.
Yeah.
They're
We
bad
go to
teammates.
netball and then we're besties and stuff.
So netball brings out the best in your relationship.
For sure.
Oh, that's good. Good for netball. Can we foresee a time when both of you are going to be on the Australian team?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Reaching for?
That is the goal, and hopefully one day that can happen. But yeah, we're probably just thinking about this moment now and just celebrating the fact that we're both in the team of 10, and then I guess after this we can think about
what happens.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of a get-together as a team coming up this weekend?
We sure do. We're going to have a jerk chicken night. So
Those poor chickens.
They love it, Shaun. So this is because, of course, there's a strong Jamaican link in your side.
Yeah, so the Jamaican girls are going to have us all over, and they've got the jerk chicken all sorted and stuff, and they're going to have one of the partners get on the grill and cook that. But last year we did it, and it was a success. So
it set you up for the whole season.
Yeah.
Oh, how good.
What's it like
love that.
having three Jamaicans in your team? Do they talk each other's language to one another? Is it a little bit confusing at times?
Honestly, I love having the three of them in the team. At first, you couldn't really understand it, but now when they're talking in their patois, I can get a little things here and then. I'm I know what you're talking about and stuff. So I feel like I can speak it as well, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly, fluent.
Are they funny units?
They're so. Katie Ann is the funniest person ever, and just the stuff that she does, I'm just wow, Katie. Like,
Yeah, that's so good. And good luck for that first game.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait and enjoy Jerk Chicken Day.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
There's an article in the paper today about a guy who stole a car up around Joondalup. And he had to go to court.
Allegedly.
Well said. So what he did was he was skulking around the place and he came across his car. And
You don't know he was skulking.
What is skulking?
It's
just
creeping around. Doing stuff with evil intent.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So he jumps in this car and off he goes and hoons around. The problem is there was a 17-year-old girl in the back with her dog.
I mean, you say this lightly. She must have been absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Imagine you're just sitting there and you're playing with the dog or whatever, and then the next minute there's a stranger in the car who was driving on the wrong side of the road, allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
At speed, and you don't know who they are, and you don't know how this is going to happen.
Speed, allegedly.
And what happened? Did he?
So then they got to a point where the guy obviously slowed down and was around a corner, and the 17-year-old girl jumped out of the car with the dog and got away. So the cops end up picking up this guy because allegedly he was driving on the wrong side of the road, Natalie, at the
High speed.
At high speeds, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And he went to court and had his day in court yesterday.
He hasn't had. He was remanded. So yeah, that was just the initial hearing.
Which means what, Nat?
That he has to go back for his actual court case.
Means he's remanded. I didn't know either. Something legal.
A terrible situation, particularly for the young person who was in the back of the car and who was driving. I mean, that's
So
a question
frightening.
everybody's been asking this morning.
No.
No, that's not the question. The question is, you wanted to know, why is she in the back seat? Why doesn't this article tell us the article's about a criminal activity, allegedly, and you're concerned about why she was sitting in the back seat?
There was quite a heated
100%.
discussion.
100%.
And we said, does it matter?
Yeah, because why you're in the back seat?
But she was probably just waiting for her mum. Like,
Yeah.
what does it
But
matter?
where was the mum? Hey, her mum was in the shops and then she was in the back seat and the criminal came across, allegedly, and stole the car, allegedly.
I tried to help you out and said if she was the driver and she got in the back seat, then there's like a hey, why are you in the back seat with your dog? But if she wasn't the driver, it's a very normal
But
situation.
also, it doesn't matter.
But you kind of want to know. If Sean
You'd
wants
wanna
to know.
Oh, you want to know, but it doesn't matter. To the
people
story,
wanna
it
know,
doesn't
Nat.
matter.
The people want to know.
No, they don't. You want to know.
Okay, what else I
You're
want to know?
hyper fixating on something when we don't really need to know. It's not on a need to know basis.
Okay. You might have an answer for me, 13 24 10, or more importantly, sometimes people just jump in cars, right? And this is a bad situation.
Yes.
But I remember when this happened a couple of times when I've gone to pick up the kids from school. And one time in particular, I was picking up my son Cooper and I was in the school line
Yes.
to be able to
the
pick
pickup line, yeah.
And a lot of people drive around in similar cars these days, and gunmetal grey seems to be a colour of choice for a lot of people. And a lot of people down our way or everywhere has Prados. Because people just buy
I guess.
four-wheel drive, they never take them offline. Anyway, I remember I was watching Cooper and he's coming down. I see him slow down to this car that was
Yeah.
like 5 cars in front of it, and he just jumps in the back.
You just very carefully watched him get in someone else's car and went, oh, well,
Exactly.
drove off. What happened?
Never saw him
Sat there
again.
for a while, and it took him probably 30 seconds or so before he realised that he was in the car because this lady was looking at him like, "What are you doing in the
Yes.
car?" And he was looking back, going,
Yeah.
"Who is this woman?"
Drive.
He gets out and he walks down to me. But they're great moments.
Oh, yeah, perfect. All right, we want to know who got in your car? Did somebody who wasn't supposed to be there get in your car and why? I reckon there's a lot of people who've been mistaken for Ubers.
Yeah, my dad had that. He
Yeah.
said he was just parked somewhere and then there's some
just-
young kids get
Yeah,
in. Like,
and because they've had a few drinks as well, and they're not, you know. And like when I order an Uber, I'm not wearing my glasses, and so I can't read on the app what the number plate is. Yeah, so I was like, especially if I've had a couple of rosés.
Gins, anybody?
You can't be too careful. Rebecca, hello.
Hi, how you going?
Good,
Great,
Beck.
Beck. What happened?
So I was the one that jumped into someone's car along with 2 other girlfriends. Let's just say we were having a very big night one night in Parramatta in New South Wales.
Yeah.
We decided we wanted to go to another venue, preferably in the city. So I jumped out of the pub and I was like, oh, yeah, there's a taxi, jumped in the back, and my girlfriends were like, is this not a taxi? And there was 2 guys in the front of the vehicle, and they're like, we're not a taxi. And I'm like, no, you're the taxi. Can you please take us to the city? And they actually took us to the city. So, and luckily it was all safe, all good. I wouldn't recommend it today, but
No.
yeah.
Did they ask for payment or anything? Money?
No, just remember we put the tunes on. They took us all the way to the city, and we got out safely. And
she paid with
never
good
heard of them
vibes
again.
for us.
Good vibes.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
vibes.
I think they were off to a party or something as well, so they were like, whatever.
What about their car made you think they were a taxi?
I don't know. I think it was just white.
Okay, right.
Well, that just about does it.
There's a white car. Yeah,
Let's go.
I'll jump in.
That's
Let's
enough
say I
evidence
had
for
way
me.
Too many drinks. Yeah.
Good on you, Beck. Thank you. Tim's in Secret Harbour. Hello, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, hi.
Okay, what happened?
Well, years ago, a friend of mine and I went to Red Rooster in Warwick, and we parked my little brown Datsun 1600 out the front.
Beautiful.
And we both went in and ordered our food, and my mate's food came out a bit earlier, so he went out the front, and I waited for mine, and then I went back out, and I jumped into my little car, and I thought, where's my mate? And I was looking around, so I looked down through some windows, and about 4 cars down, there was my mate sitting in another little brown Datsun 1600 in the passenger seat, munching away on his Red Rooster.
He's gone, where's bloody Tim? He isn't. What's taking him so long? Hey, what did he order? The bloody pineapple fritter got him.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah, probably.
Somebody else comes back to their car and it's just like the smell of chicken and like greasiness on the seat.
That would be really weird, wouldn't it?
No, wouldn't it? Oh, good work. Thank you, Tim. Mel's in Hammy Hill. Morning, Mel.
Morning. How are you today?
Hey, Mel.
What happened, Mel?
My mum was leaving her place in Fremantle and she stopped at the corner of Arundel Street to pull out onto South Terrace.
Yep.
Yes.
And this guy just hopped in the passenger seat of her car. And she said, oh. And he said, oh, can you take me to the train station? And she said, I'm going to Booragoon. And he said, oh, it's not really far out of your way, just to the Fremantle train station.
Yes.
And she just went, oh, okay. And drove this guy, random guy.
Yeah.
She was well into her 60s when this happened.
Yeah.
So, like, hello, Mum, this is not a safe thing.
Yeah.
Drove this random guy to the Fremantle train station where he just hopped out and walked off.
Now, here's the thing, right? So that's very close to Fremantle Hospital, basically, is where you're talking about.
Yes.
And there's
Very close, yes.
the Alma Street Mental Health Centre is just around the corner. So
the building that my parents have an apartment in is opposite the hospital.
Yes.
And it has been known that people have committed suicide jumping off that building.
Yeah.
So what you're suggesting is possibly not far from the truth.
That somebody has, like, skipped out from the Alma Centre.
Yeah,
and
take me to the train station.
And your mum has aided in their getaway.
Yeah, well into her 60s and being a country lady, just went, oh,
she's just a nice lady.
And, just went, that way to Booragoon.
That's very nice of her.
It is nice.
Very nice of her. And the country folk would do that every day of the
that's
week.
what kind of country folk are like, Sean. Your mum's a good woman. I'm glad that ended happily, by the way. Thank you, Mel. Joe's in Canning Vale. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Great, Joe. What happened?
A friend of ours years ago, she went to the shop, came back outside, hopped in a car and drove home. She had like a little mini minor. And she hopped in the car, drove home. The husband said to her, this isn't your car. And she said, what? And he said, this isn't your car. Now, years ago, keys used to fit other people's cars.
Joe.
So he had to drive the car back. It was at the Cranford Shops in Brentwood.
Yeah.
And he had to drive the car back and give it back to the other man who was waiting there to get his car.
Did he?
Because he thought someone had stolen it.
Was he with the car that looked like his, or did he thought someone genuinely stole it? And did he react poorly?
He thought someone actually stole it because his car wasn't there and he didn't realise.
Well, somebody kind of did steal it.
They did, yeah.
But they nicely brought it back again.
And the keys working.
I know.
I mean, that's difficult.
Yeah.
I can't believe keys could work on other cars.
Yeah. When I was at uni,
years ago they did.
Yeah, I had an old Corolla and another friend had a similar car and our keys worked on one. On the door. We never tried it in the ignition, but...
Jeez. That's hilarious.
I know.
Well, she didn't think anything of it. She got in the car and started and drove home.
I don't know if I'd know. I mean, you look at the number plate
until you try.
A couple of days later, you're like...
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's amazing. A couple of days later.
I realised it wasn't her car when she got home, so it was all sorted. But yes, it's always been a bit of a laugh.
That's what husbands are for, to notice those things.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Joe. Beswell, hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Beswell.
Beswell. Okay, talk to us about, did you jump in someone's car or did somebody jump in yours?
Well, somebody jumped in mine. So I was picking up a friend at the Ashby pub
Yep.
Yes.
in Banksia Grove
Yes.
on Pinja Road. Yeah. So I was stopping there trying to find parking, and this guy comes in. He was, well done. Got a few. So,
He was well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah, it was well done. Jumped in the back of the car, and he says, yeah, man. I said, hey, excuse me, this is not a taxi. He said, oh, yeah. It was just I couldn't make anything that he was saying, and then so I drove him around the car park and dropped him back at the same spot he jumped on, and said, "Yep, we are here, mate." And he jumped in his wallet. Yeah, jumped in his wallet, gives me $20 and says, "Keep the change." And he got out.
Hey, Beswell, that's fantastic.
Classic.
Well played,
done.
except you robbed him. But besides that,
Yeah. Why not, mate?
That's what you get.
That's what you get.
That's what you get if you won't get out
I
of the
love that,
stranger's
Beswell.
car.
Well
Beswell.
done.
That's making the best out of the situation. Well played. Janine's in Willagee. Bring us home, Janine. What happened?
Hi guys, it's Janine from Allure Limousines. And about a decade ago, we were doing a pickup at a hotel in the city for a wedding.
Yep.
Bride comes out, Matt says her name, she goes, yep, jump in the limo, driving down the freeway south to what we thought was our bride's ceremony location. And she goes, driver, where are you going? And he's like, I'm taking you to the church. I'm not getting married there. The wrong bride had jumped in the wrong limo.
Oh, my
Chances
God.
there's two brides hanging around at the right moment
and
to get
for a
in.
limo.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we ended up, coordinating with the other companies to take our bride to our ceremonial location. And then while they were getting married, the drivers drove to the right location. But yeah, she wasn't listening, obviously. He was like, yep, I'm such and such bride.
Yeah, that's
when
amazing.
clearly she wasn't.
Yes.
On your wedding day, of course, you want everything to go perfect. You just imagine the
Is this an
panic
omen?
would have...
Is this a sign?
Yeah.
But also opportunity to, do a math spin-off where
That's right, Janine.
instead of the experts matching you, it's just the limo drivers decide
Allure.
just drive
limousines.
drop you at the wrong church. Oh, too good. Thanks, Janine. Brilliant work, everybody.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
Down at Fremantle Land, they know there's one person stopping the Dockers from earning 4 points this weekend, and that man is Jeremy McGovern, because he is an absolute icon of the West Coast Eagles defence. And he joins us now. G-Mac, how are you?
Morning.
Good. Good morning. How are we?
Good.
We're good, mate.
Gov.
You've got a big day today, hey, Gov?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every day's a big day, but big day this morning. Sorry I can't be in there. I love coming in and seeing you guys, but I love my little daughter more. She's getting a little merit certificate, so
Adorable.
proud dad moment for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's outstanding.
Yep. Someone in the family's achieving something. Did she drop all her responsibilities when you were named All-Australian?
No, she dogged me to stay home for a banana smoothie, so don't worry, I'm keeping receipts.
Yeah, good on you.
I'm just trying to lead by example here and showing how much I love her.
You're a good dad.
That's great, Gov. Obviously, we're looking forward to this Derby 60 on the weekend, and off the back of a really great performance up in Brisbane. And when we were here last week, when you were talking, you did say funnier things have happened because you're mad underdogs, and so far we'd seen Geelong get beaten by St Kilda. All these things were kind of machinating.
Richmond beat Carlton in the first game. Yeah.
Even last night with Essendon beating Port, anything's possible.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Of course, anything's possible for sure, but the comp's obviously so even, and if teams are a little bit off, no matter where you are on the ladder, you can be surprised by most teams. So for us last week, we started really, really well. We needed to respond, so it was great from the young group, but obviously being by a much better side in Brizzy in the end, and we've moved on, and we're on for a big derby this weekend. So plenty on the line for both teams.
Absolutely, there's plenty on the line. And last year, the corresponding game to start the season was a West Coast home game, and the Eagles were dominant in that one, Gov, and I believe he took 9 marks when I was looking at the stats last night. So, as usual, had a big impact.
I can't remember, Shawnee, but yeah, no, I try. I try and have as big an impact as I can. I think, like most players, but we got that one last year, which was awesome, and hopefully we can do the same again this weekend. But obviously, understanding Freo extremely good side, and they're in a similar position with us with no wins. But they're a great side, and I'd imagine they'll be up there at the end of the year.
Now, if you're looking for omens, Gov, I've got one for you. So last year when that happened, I wasn't here. I was on holidays in Switzerland, and this year I will be in Melbourne. So if me not being here is the key to an Eagles victory in the Derby, we're there. We're home.
You're playing your part.
Yeah, I'm doing my bit. Okay.
If that's the case, I'll be buying your plane ticket for the next 30 minutes.
And I will take it.
You wherever you want.
Gav, do you have any pre-game rituals? Maybe it's a superstition you think you need to do before each game, or anything unique before you go out there?
No superstitions, nothing. I'm pretty boring.
Pump up songs. Listen.
I do like listening to music and trying to visualise myself playing well, and then visualise myself getting a bag kicked on me, just to get the nerves going.
Just to get you fired up.
Yeah. No, I don't really have any pre-game rituals at all. There's a few boys have some different ones of running out laughs, not touching the banner and all that jazz, but if you do that all the time and you don't play well, I don't know what your next move is.
Yeah, that's right.
Has that changed, or has it always been the same? Because I know when you get older, you realise that a lot of those things don't mean anything, as you're talking about now. But have you always been
old?
Like that? No, mature.
Wise. Experience.
Yeah, as I've matured, I must have been mature when I first got into it, because
of course.
I never really looked into that too much, because it's I feel like it can actually do the opposite effect and actually mess with your head a little bit if your game day jocks aren't ready or they've got a hole in them. Yeah. So I'm a comfy guy. If I can just make sure I'm feeling comfortable and relaxed, then that's good enough for me, I guess.
Oh,
that's a sensible approach. Yeah. Now, Gav, we noted last week that the key to the Eagles' success in the early part of the game seemed to be Bailey Williams, and that, Brisbane got back in the game when he had to go off. But he is named. He is playing this week. He's good to go?
Yeah, he's good to go. He's
he was good.
Obviously, that was his first game last week, and he just... I think he had full body cramps, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's grim, isn't it?
So, he seems ready to go. He's trained this week. So, he was great when he obviously started for us last week, and he brought plenty of energy to that midfield. So, I hope he can do the same again this weekend.
It's fascinating because Luke Jackson will be the guy that Fremantle will have up against him, unless they bring in Liam Reedy, who is the proper ruckman, if you like to say that. I don't know if that's the right term. But Jack Graham will come into the West Coast team. So the 25-man squads get trimmed later today, and this is not in Gov's wheelhouse, but it'll be interesting to see where both clubs go, whether they play an extra ruckman, because they've got Jack Williams, who's also in their 25-man squad as well. So, and Matt Flynn, I think, was named as well. So the Eagles are naming a couple of big fellas there. But Bailey, as rightly said, Nat, he was a big
He was terrific. Yeah, that's right.
Centre bounces, he was outstanding.
Yeah.
And Gov, you would have been really wrapped with the midfield's job, particularly in those first half of the game, because it stopped the ball coming down left, right and centre to your forwards.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes my life a lot easier down back when the mids are getting on top and getting it going our way, which was awesome. And obviously, the midfield can't be on top all the time, all year round. So there's going to be there's periods throughout the games where they can't get on top, and that's when we really need to stand up. But on the weekend, the boys come out firing and made the back's life a lot easier, which I'm hoping we can do again this weekend. Would be nice.
Of course.
Liam Baker started to look pretty comfortable too, just quietly. He's really slotted in nicely.
Yeah, he has. Bakes is a ripper. He, as you can see, he's was sort of probably penciled in to play down back most of the year, but moved into the midfield and had a massive impact as soon as he went in there. So he can pretty much play anywhere. He's that type of player. He's that level of player where he's got a great understanding of the game and can pretty much play anywhere. So, he was awesome for us. Got us really, really going in the midfield, and I'd imagine he's probably going to start there again this weekend after his performance the weekend, but you'd have to ask Minnie.
And finally, Gov, before we let you go, so you've had a camera crew following you around a little bit, doing a few insights.
Yeah, we saw that video on your Insta.
Yeah, I think Caleb Sarong had the same thing at one stage as well. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Daniel Barrington's his name, from obviously Real Motion. He sort of does, not like biographies, but a bit more in-depth videos and insight, I guess, onto athletes.
Yep.
If you see his Instagram page and stuff, he's awesome. He's absolute pleasure to work with. It's not really my cup of tea, that thing, but once I met Daniel and he sort of explained he'd love to give the fans, everyone, a bit more of an insight, I thought, oh, stuff it, why not? We'll get into it. So, it's something in the background that I'm working on, I guess, or doing, but doesn't take a lot of time up. But, no, it's been a pleasure working with Daniel. He's a ripper.
Kicking off the modelling career, eh?
No modelling. I've got to head for radio, so that's...
Don't we all?
Join our team.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck on Sunday, Gov. Let's get it done.
Thanks, guys.
I'm not going to be
Appreciate
here,
it.
so I'm doing my part, okay?
Have a good game, Gov.
All right, thanks. See you guys.
Sean nearly meant that.
He's an important part of the West Coast Eagles.
Oh, don't worry, we know.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
What's happening, legends?
Hey, Husey. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Bloody ages, hasn't it? Look, God almighty, you guys are the bloody... when's your statue? There should be a statue. How many years is it now?
I thought you were going to say you're the cockroaches of the radio world.
No, not at all. Bloody well done. Well done for still being legends.
Yeah,
Matt, how long
I'm in
you
my
done?
23rd year, Husey.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In the same chair.
Yeah.
I know, that is bloody fantastic. Well done.
Husey, we got a sneak peek of the first episode of Taskmaster, where, of course, you do feature very heavily. I'd just like to say this, no spoilers, obviously, for the people that haven't seen it yet, but you're a stickler for the rules, aren't you?
Look, I just think the rules are the rules for a reason, and if someone breaks them, everyone should be able to break them. Tom Gleason's very, very fluid in the way he applies the rules, and I don't like it, I don't like it.
I totally agree.
We got that vibe, definitely. I reckon by the third episode, you're going to be taking a lawyer to this thing.
So I should, there's a lot at stake. There's a plastic trophy worth probably 14 cents at the end of it. Point. So you've got to fight hard to get it.
Hey, Husey, you have been busy, as you're saying, doing the Jungle Fall, which we all watched in the summer.
What's next?
Yeah, God.
Is there a cooking show you can go on? What's going on?
Look, I'm back on Channel 10. I'm happy to be back there. There's another show that hasn't been announced, has it? No, so I can't. So I can't say. I will be. There'll be quite a bit of me on Channel 10 this year, and so that's all good. I'm actually coming to Perth as well later in the year to do a show at the
Astor.
Astor?
Yeah,
I think it's the
Astor.
Astor.
Yeah. And you're in Fremantle Comedy Factory November 15th.
It's a small one. That'll sell out fast. But the Astor's a bigger venue, so yeah.
Yeah, so but buy your tickets today. Why wait?
Yeah,
Why wait?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for that. Yeah.
Husey Rove, Perth boy. Read up you cut your teeth a fair bit in Perth with the comedy scene. Is it true you bombed one of your first gigs?
First gig ever. There might be some people listening who were there. There was only probably about 60 or 70 people there. Rove actually was there as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely flatlined in Northbridge on my first gig in Lake Street. It was a place called
Pockets.
It was Pockets Pool Hall, which is, I don't know, there might be it might be a Kmart now. I don't know what it is now, but and there was no backstage, so you had to walk through the audience to get out of the room. So that was just and I was talking about being teased at school as I on stage. I thought it'd be funny, and no one thought it was funny. They just thought it was sad. And as I'm walking out, I'm just about to get to the exit, and someone from the crowd said, "Yeah, they were right to tease you at school." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah.
Husey, the myth is, and I'm not sure which way it goes, is that it's either you bombed and Rove was in the audience and said, "I can do that," or you saw Rove and he bombed and you thought, "I can do that." Which of those is true?
No, he saw me and he said, he thought to himself, if they'll let him up there, they'll let anyone up there. I'm going to have a go next week. So I think that my comedy stylings are responsible for Rove's career.
Well
done.
Hey, Husey, after that, where did you get your first TV break for Rove? Right, he did the Access TV. What was it, 44 or something?
31, I think.
31?
Yeah.
I was definitely jealous of Rove. I still am, basically. But, I was jealous of him because he got his own TV show before I got anything, really. But he started, as I said, a week after me in Perth. So, my big break, I went on Hey Hey at Saturday, actually.
Yeah.
So, it was... And you know what? At the time I was on the dial, and I was doing jokes about being on the dial, and so and I went on. I went on as a stand-up comedian as well. I'd auditioned twice to be on Red Faces.
Yep.
Which is, if you don't know, older people will know, but younger people won't know. That was like an amateur sort of bit of the show where
Like
they
a
would get
talent
people on and
show.
off. And,
Yeah.
And just often gong them off and just mock them, basically, for being
Yes.
terrible. I tried to get on that twice, and they would not let me on. The second audition, I'm at Channel 9.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of moccasins, from the op shop to try to increase my ability to get on the show. And the guy doing the auditions looking at it's just me and him in a room, and he's looking at his bloody clipboard, and I'm trying to be funny. I said, mate, can you look up at me? I'm doing an act here. And he said, no, I'm going to keep looking at my clipboard. And then he got the security guard to walk me out of the building because he thought I was going to bag him. You know what? And when I got booked to do the show as a professional comedian, I walked past that guy sort of where he was, and I was looking at him, hey, remember me? He couldn't even bloody remember me. He never looked up from that clipboard.
Yeah.
So.
He's probably still wandering the halls of Channel 9. Though. And look at you, Hughesy.
Exactly. Look at me, being an idiot.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat, and Shaun.
Tonight on Channel 9. Oh, my God, the cops are here. 7:30, West Coast Cops premieres. Now, it follows a bunch of pommy cops who've come out here, been recruited out here to come and, chase away our criminals, basically.
Yeah,
Acting
we like
Sergeant Ben Woods joins us. Ben, welcome.
Good morning.
Ben.
Hey, Ben, where are you from originally?
A lovely little town called Hastings in Sussex.
Hastings? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the real deal. So,
Yeah,
and
the real deal.
you were a copper in the UK?
Yeah, 13 years for my sins.
Okay, and so then what? The opportunity to come out here arose. There was a bit of a recruitment campaign, I guess.
Yeah, so
Why are you here, Ben?
Why am I
That's the
here?
question.
Why am I here? There's probably a number of reasons that I could go into, but essentially it's lifestyle, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We get one life. Take
Yep.
every opportunity you can to make your life better, and that's why I'm here. I've done the job for a long time in the UK. I got probably just frustrated with the United Kingdom, all of the politics.
Yes.
Saw this opportunity. I was like, why
that's
not
for
take
me.
it? Like, look at WA. This is the most amazing state. Perth is a brilliant, beautiful, vibrant city. Why not take that opportunity?
And so you've been here for a little bit, a couple of months now. What's the biggest difference between being a UK cop and now a WA cop?
Don't have to wear a jumper.
Sunscreen.
That's the hats.
Do you know
Bobby
what
hat.
the biggest difference is? It's actually more relaxed here. It's a lot more chilled. There's I was rushed off my feet like most UK cops were because of the workload.
Yes.
Here it is a lot less, and that's a good thing. It's not about being condescending to Aussie cops, but it's a lot easier here because there's not as much crime.
Wow,
it's
because we think
safe.
we do have a lot of crime. So you're saying relatively
in comparison to the United
we're
Kingdom,
doing all right.
you're doing fine. WA Police is doing a good job to keep things at bay. So.
Although you do have a shift tonight in Northbridge, right?
I do.
7 p.m. to 5 a.m. if you really want to
7 p.m.
test
till
that
5
comment.
a.m.
You'll
Yeah,
see him
if
at
you
the kebab shop. It's about 5 a.m.
You'll see me standing there looking grumpy.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, I would have thought the other difference is in the UK you'd have a smaller car to whip around.
Yeah.
Over here, you got something with a bit more power, a bit bigger.
Yeah, the cars here, you got the Rangers, you got the Skodas. Actually, you got some nice cars to drive around rather than a little Ford Focus in the UK.
Have you been in a high-speed chase? Sorry, Natalie?
No, not here I haven't. UK I have, but I haven't got that course here, so I'm not a pursuit driver in WA Police.
Okay, good to know. At what point did they come to you and say, hey, we want to put you on a TV show? Because it's one thing to come out here and do the job, and I mean, that would be hard enough. But then they're like, we want to follow you around with a camera and watch you doing your job.
I think when they saw me, because obviously I've got a face for TV, right?
Well, you have. Very
Dashing
beautiful
good
man.
looks, dashing good
Beautiful
looks.
man.
No, so they I think WA Police were reached out to by Prospero to say, hey, look, we've got these cops are coming over we've heard about. Why not make a documentary? It's not just a boring one about police. This TV show is about raw lives of people.
And the culture clash.
Between the UK. You're actually seeing the difference between the UK, Australia, but also you're seeing raw emotions of people.
Yes.
You're seeing the person behind the badge. It's what always they say, isn't it? You just see a uniform, you just see a cop. And that's all that matters. It's just a person. They're not even a person.
No.
This show will show you the person behind the badge, and I think that's what sells this program is the raw emotion, the tears. There are tears.
Yeah.
There is laughter. There is tears from laughter. There is the lot. It's
the full
it's
gamut.
a story.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's not just it's not a program. It's a story.
There's a crocodile in there somewhere I saw in the preview. What are some of the stories or incidents that have stood out to you that we might see?
That you wouldn't have experienced back in the UK.
So it's really difficult for me to answer that question because I've actually only seen episodes 1 and 2.
You don't know what makes it?
I don't know. I don't know what's in it though. So I'm actually just as.
Have you had those moments moments, though, when you've been just going about your job where you went, oh, this never would have happened back in the UK?
There's been a few. I think the naked people running around in the street that have probably taken too many drugs. That's an interesting one. But to be honest, my experience in the UK, I've probably seen most things, in all honesty. But yeah, so I don't know what's happening in the TV show. I only know what's airing tonight.
Seen a car chase go down onto the beach like it did in Scarborough the other day?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was interesting. Yeah.
Are you amazed that the guy didn't take the time to stop and put down his tyres to make sure he can keep driving? Because he would have got away.
I assumed it was just the confusing road signs in Perth. I
don't know. When you come over, did you have to change the level of... what do I call it?
What
the level you were at as a policeman?
Oh, you're
a sergeant here, your rank.
Yeah, so I finished as a sergeant in the UK. So I'm acting here. So I've actually been really well supported by the agency. You know, I think I've had really good bosses. Perth has been really supportive of me and actually a lot of my transitional colleagues. So I finished as a sergeant in the UK, started again here when I arrived as a constable, progressed through.
You had to basically go back to the bottom and work your way back up again.
Work your way back up again, yeah. But I've just been lucky that I've worked in a station where they're really supportive in developing their staff.
Yeah, but also clearly you know what you're doing because
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so.
Ben, in the police force, obviously there's jobs within jobs, so you can go off to do a myriad of different things.
Absolutely.
Is there something you've got your eye on doing or maybe experiencing at some stage?
You know, I've come from an agency in the UK where it was limited. Unless you work in London, where a lot of these jobs are. Perth has got it all. You want to go to air wing and fly in a helicopter, you've got that. You want to do dogs, you want to do horses, the lot. I quite like the idea of doing something like the Regional Operations Group, which is like it's called as ROG. They're the guys that go around and deal with like sort of public order and sort of some high level stuff. But ultimately, I have no idea what I want to do. It's one of these jobs where something takes your fancy one day and you go, yeah, I might give that a go in a few years.
Have you done a stint in the country here?
I've done 2 weeks in Kununurra.
How was that?
That would have been an eye-opener.
It was an eye-opener. Sometimes it's an eye-closer because I didn't want to see what they're seeing.
Yeah.
But actually, really, really good for development, but really good for starting to see Australia. I went there to earn some money, let's be honest, right?
Yes.
You know, you do those things to earn some good money. I actually tried to avoid the overtime because I thought the Kimbleys was such a beautiful spot.
Yeah, but you wanted to make the most of it.
I made the most of it. I was out all day travelling, hiking, exploring, seeing the beauty. And then going to work. I'm thinking, right, work's getting in the way now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Did you go fishing up there? Because there are crocs in the water.
I went swimming up there. I was told it was a bit, you know, there was
Lake Argyle's a fresh water.
Yeah, so I was told there's freshies and then there's salties.
Yeah.
If it's a salty,
yeah, you got to ask first.
Absolutely, yeah. Apparently, if they say see you later, it's an alligator. It's all good. It's,
okay, yeah. Good to know. Good to know.
So, what are the nuances of when you're being a cop, but you got the camera crew following you around?
So I thought that would be more difficult than it was. I actually found it more of a challenge in the academy because it's all brand new. You know, you're trying to learn all these new things and you then got a camera crew saying, how was that? How did that go? How did that make you feel? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to learn.
I'm still trying to remember what they just told us, yeah.
And I thought it would be more of a challenge on the street. Actually, it was great because you had the shooter directors. I used to call them the camera ladies. They hated it, but they were the shooter directors, Claire and Cal, and they were brilliant. Making you feel relaxed, looking after you. You know, you wouldn't even know were there. So you're dealing with some sort of incident. You wouldn't even know the cameras were there.
You don't have to reposition yourself so you got a better shot while you're arresting.
Sometimes you have to ask a criminal hang on, could we just go back and start again?
Can you just redo that?
While you're arresting somebody?
From the top.
Can you just start that chase again?
The light wasn't too great for that one. Let's do that again.
And what about, I mean, the obvious question this week, it's been a horrifically hot week. How do you go in the heat?
I like the heat. And I'm not just saying that. And what is it they say? It's a dry heat in Perth, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun.
I love it. I love the heat. I moved here not just for the weather, but for everything, right? The whole package. But the weather's a good selling point that it makes you happy.
Yeah.
This is why I think people here are happier because salaries are better, the weather's better, people are nicer. And I'm not just saying that. People in Perth are a lot nicer than a lot of English people.
Ben, did you come out here single or with a partner?
Single, so yeah. This is not Married at First Sight, is it?
I don't know, it's a Channel 9 show, mate.
We know
I love a crossover.
Well, we're looking forward to catching it tonight, everybody. 7:30 on Channel 9 and 9 now. West Coast Cops, starring acting Sergeant Ben Woods. Thanks so much for coming in, Ben. And
Thanks a lot, Ben.
And if you see Ben on the street tonight in Northbridge, be nice to him, please.
Yeah, show some respect. He's a lovely man.
Exactly.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
Every week we seem to be celebrating somebody who's been on Home and Away forever.
It's amazing.
I know. This young lady, a lazy 25 years on Home and Away, playing Leah. Ada Nicodemu, good morning.
Morning.
What an amazing achievement, Ada. I know that, 25 years goes by in the blink of an eye, but when you first started out, when you first started as Leah, did you ever envisage you'd still be there 25 years later?
Absolutely not. No, I was. They asked me to come onto the show for 3 years, and I was just like, nope, just doing 6 months. That's all I'm doing. And 25 years later, and I'm still there.
Hey, Ada, after the first 6 months was what in your mind you were going to do, as you just said, was there a moment where there was a couple of times where you thought, oh, I better start looking at something else? How did it work out that you kept staying?
Yeah, well, I didn't expect to love it, actually. So I was just I thought, oh, look, I'll just go on for 6 months because I don't know what else I want to do. But I didn't think I'd enjoy it. So that's what I was really surprised about. And it has been like that ever since. Look, you always have your challenging moments from times, whether it's you're just tired, you're working too hard, or but overall, no, it's been awesome. I can't believe it's actually been 25 years because
it's wild.
It doesn't feel like that either. It's really odd.
So, Ada, 25 years, a long time to be doing a lot of different storylines, and there has been some crackers in Home and Away over the years, some of the more ridiculous ones. Martha becomes a pole dancer.
Yeah, what? And?
Shane getting killed by blood poisoning from chicken wire, I believe.
That happens.
Homeless Miles being Sally's long-lost brother. Did you have a favourite ridiculous storyline?
Oh, look... I mean, I guess one that I did really, really love was, a couple of years ago, sort of Justin and Leah sort of getting kidnapped and, stuck in a warehouse somewhere and had to escape, and then he nearly dies, and then she eventually gets PTSD from it, and then she tries to stab him. Well,
sure.
That was
it's everyday life.
That was a great. No, but it was a great storyline because it went on for a really long time, but a lot of the time it felt like it was like we were shooting a film.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was really special. And then, look, one of the ones I found really hard to deal with was when Lynn's character Irene and Leah, they were arguing and Leah slapped her.
Oh, how do you slap a national icon? How did you do that?
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised I didn't get heaps of hate. I mean, obviously not really slapping them.
Yes, I know, but still.
It's all sort of camp. But still, you had to build up the emotion to do that. And Lynn and I are such good mates. And also, it wasn't in a studio. It was out at Palm Beach. And there was people watching.
Yeah,
it was awful.
Busloads of tourists watching you.
How many times did you have to do it? I wouldn't imagine it was one take.
Oh, it was a few. It was a few, yeah. And we were both really anxious leading up to it as well. And it was just yucky stuff, But yeah, I mean, you've got to go there sometimes. I mean, I really love, like, as much as, everyone loves the drama, for me it's more the light stuff or the odd, when we do comedy or something like that, or they're the fun things. Because, look, I'm going to sound like an actor right now, but there's certain moments, and you can't describe them, but they're priceless when you get those moments between actors, and it's like no one else is there. Like, they're amazing. They're amazing to do.
One of the things Leah's been able to do is have many husbands along the journey. I think
many.
Four. Is four the right count?
Yes. Justin's number 4.
Did one end up in jail in witness protection, or what happened to that one?
Yep, that was the first one. That was
Vinny,
the first one. That was Vinny, yeah. Then there was Dan, and Dan's unfortunately passed away.
Okay.
And then she was engaged, but that didn't happen. But she's been engaged quite a few times as well.
Well, she's a cat.
And then
Does
there
she
was
down?
Does she get to keep the rings?
Come on. I don't know. We should do a storyline about that. Shouldn't we? Or open up her jewelry boxes and all these amazing diamonds.
That's right.
Or we always joke about sort of the mantle, like the mantelpiece of like the dead husbands, all the different photos.
That's right.
But yeah, look, she's supposedly been proposed to 13 times.
Wow.
Oh, what? What a catch.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's flattering.
I know.
I mean,
cool.
to be fair though, like I'm from a country town, Ada, and you know there is. If there's a catch in the country town, you know everyone has a crack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So and Leah is definitely sort of
She's hot stuff.
She's hot stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Thanks, guys. I don't know what to say. Yeah.
Hey, Ada, what was it like? It must have been, I mean, bittersweet when Lynn McGranger announced that she was going to be leaving the Bay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Look, I'm happy for her because she's, Lynn and I talk, and we've been talking for years, and it's something that's been on her mind. And I think when she finally made that decision, it was the right decision, and she feels really good about it, and she's really excited about the next chapter of her life. On a personal note, though, like I hate it. It's like I've just lost an arm. She's home and away for me. We share a dressing room together. We have lunch together. We go for walks together. We're in every scene, basically. Like it's going to be weird. And it's been a lovely send-off, though. Like, we had her big do on Friday night, but she's doing her last scene on Wednesday, and I'll be in it. It's actually just the two of us. So I just think we're going to do a lot of ugly, crying.
So you know how she's written out then? You know what the plot line is?
Yeah.
So she told us that she had some say in that, and we're not, obviously you can't tell us what it is, but are you satisfied? Do you think it's a worthy way
I think it's lovely.
For Irene to leave?
I think they've done a really, really good job with it, and the writing's amazing, and it's emotional, and there's a whole lot of stuff that happens, but I think it's a really lovely send-off for her, and I think the fans will be, well, obviously they'll be very sad, but it's very Irene-focused.
Great.
Irene's going off to start her OnlyFans.
There you go.
Well, that's where the real
likely.
How did you know? How did you know?
I know a soul.
He's already subscribed. Well, it's a great achievement, 25 years, and many more to come. I mean, you're still very young, Ada, so you could be doing this for, till you're Lynn's age. You know what I mean?
I hope I do it for another 25 years, honestly. I really do. So let's see.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Well, the Derby's on this weekend. Derby 60, in fact. It's time to bring in the big kahuna, mate. Imagine playing
Josh
on the...
Tracy.
I went to an event last night, and of course it's Derby week. You were at one with JL recently as well.
Yeah,
you guys doing a lot of cashies this week, aren't you?
You got to cash in when you can. What is that?
So there was a Freo super fan that was there at an event I was at last night.
So Shaun has just handed me a photo of my signature that's been tattooed on a fan's forearm, the inside of their forearm.
She got it done, I reckon, on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a she. We had a... Justin and I did a little event with some fans with about... not even a week ago. And she came up to me and said, "Oh, look, I've been a bit of a fan of yours for a long time. Do you mind if you sign this little card for me?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, no worries." And then as I was doing it, she said, "Oh, yeah, because I'm going to get it tattooed on my arm." And I said, I sort of laughed.
Oh, yeah, funny one. But
that's
also,
proof. Oh my God,
that's a really big signature. Like it takes up most of the forearm.
Is there a possibility of her going and forging?
Yes.
Oh, I think so.
I'm just going to say,
straight into the back.
She hasn't got her hands on your checkbook, has she?
Oh, maybe she was.
It was a checkbook.
I remember because Bally always used to say that you don't see a sticker on a Ferrari, and I've used that 100 times over. And Pav, do you? No, you're the same.
No.
It's a good line.
So none of us have got any tattoos. You don't have any tattoos either, Pav? No, me either. Ross?
No.
Oh, look at us, a bunch of clean skins.
We would be the
Millie White
the
clean
four
skin.
of us or five of us in this room right now.
There's one person.
There's one, is it?
Amy's got a little one.
But think about most rooms in Perth right now. If you're heading into the office, what percentage of people would have a sticker. Probably 50%.
Oh, I reckon it's getting there.
Yeah.
Don't
Maybe
you think?
more.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I mean, we're all a little bit older, perhaps.
Do you want to talk about the Derby?
Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, Pav, this is going to be a ripper, actually. And we had Jordan Clark in here earlier on, right? So 0-2, and you wouldn't think that that'd be much of a game because both teams haven't won a game, but it means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
17 v 18. Match of the round.
Yeah, well, it is 17th versus 18th. Who would have thought? There's so much pressure.
So much.
On probably more so Fremantle and Justin Longmuir and his team as compared to West Coast. But, you know, after that disastrous first game, Andrew McQualter would have been, what the hell is AFL coaching all about? They sort of turned it around for 3 quarters last week, couldn't hang on, and it's going to be a huge contest. Probably one of the youngest Derbies teams ever. Like, there's a lot of experience
for both sides.
Yep. Last quarters and late in the games, they've struggled the last 12 months or so. And, yeah, in games less than 2 goals, they haven't been able to really handle the big moments.
What do they need, more pickle juice? What's the answer?
It's got nothing to do with pickle juice. I think it's got to do with the age. So on the weekend, they were the third.
Inexperience?
Yeah. Third youngest team of the round last week. Essendon and Richmond were the other two, and they got absolutely smacked by their opposition. So this isn't an excuse, it's just fact. They're a young team. And I don't think Justin actually wanted to be playing this team as young as they are. But
there's
no Sean Darcy, no Nat Fyfe, no Hayden Young, no Michael Walters, and so on and so forth. So they've got some broader sort of list management issues in terms of just getting enough players into that 100 to 150 game experience that go, yep, no worries, late in the game, it's hot. Sydney are coming. Let's just handle. Let's absorb, and we'll still win the game of footy. They're not quite at that maturity.
Maybe they should just dust off Matthew Pavlich and stick him out there as a cool head in this sort of scenario. Just
clear the 50. This is what would happen. Clear the 50.
I'm not moving.
1 out. For whatever you do, don't kick it up your feet.
Don't kick it at my feet. Don't put it over my head.
Hit me on the chest. We love your work, Pav.
Good on you, Pav.
Thank you,
Looking
team.
forward
Nice
to a
to
big
see you.
game.
Yep.
Have a good call, my friend.
Yeah, like.
Oh, that's right. You guys going head to head again?
We'll arm wrestle before the game.
Hey, what happens when you're coaching footy? Do you have to give up the Fox gig?
No.
'Cause you're coaching 15 teams this year, aren't you?
No, yeah. So and what about for all those people out that have been selecting sport teams the last couple of weeks? I feel you because we've been selecting 3 footy teams, well 6 footy teams.
Oh, so grading them and putting
year 3s, year 5s, and
around.
now year 7, 8 girls team. It's been a bunch of emails and WhatsApps and spreadsheets and not much fun. But we're there. No, my contracts, as in my pay gigs, take precedence over my children. Love you guys.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.